Oops. Agora põe aqui nessa aqui. Pronto. Esse é o que vai passar. So, okay. So we are ready to start again with Monicque Silva Pereira from the Secretariat of Infrastructure and Environment of the State of São Paulo.
Good afternoon. My name is Monicque. I work in the state of São Paulo. I'm not a researcher. I'm telling you, in the beginning, I'm here to learn. I don't know not much about modeling and everything, but I know about wildlife management. And why we are here today is because Secretariat of Environment of São Paulo is now responsible for wildlife management, fauna, wild animals management. And sometimes wildlife is related to some disease, some infectious disease. And today I'm going to talk with you about spotted fever, Brazilian spotted fever that is related to capybaras, but we have a lot of other examples like yellow fever with monkeys and carnivores with rabies and that goes on. What is spotted fever? The zoonosis, it's caused by Rickettsia rickettsii. It's a bacterium. And the name comes from these spots in the hand. It's hemorrhagic, and the people who get sick from this disease has some kind of clinical signs that can be easily, it's very similar to other diseases like dengue, leptospirosis, and flu, because in the beginning it's really similar to everything. It's like headache, migraine, vomiting, nausea, fever, and the main difficult to treat this disease is because the doctor has to have the suspicions in the beginning of the disease. If he or she thinks that it might be spotted fever, should treat the patient in the beginning. If you if you wait for so long, the patient will die. So the problem of this disease is because the lethality can achieve 80%. In São Paulo state, in the last 5 years, it's around 50 and 60% of lethality. And it should not be like that because it's a disease that you can treat. If the doctor has a suspicion, the natural history of the person, the history of the sick person is very important. So the doctor can think about the spotted fever.
Excuse me, how much is so long? How much time do you have before?
You get the first symptoms, they show up like from 1 or 2 weeks before you got the bacterium. It's a short time. In the beginning, you don't have fever, headaches, and nausea, and this can be, it's very similar to other diseases. And here in São Paulo, here is a map from the Health Secretariat. There's the cases of Brazilian spotted fever here from 2007 to last month. And Campinas here is in the middle with the highest number of cases. And my talk is more about what happens to this region of the state because the cycle of the disease is really related to capybaras. And from here near the beach, the sea, it's another kind of cycle. So I'm focused on this epidemiological here. And the tick that is involved, the bacterium, is transmitted by the tick, star tick or carrapato estrela in Portuguese. There is the species Amblyomma sculptum, who is the natural reservoir and vectors of the disease. And inside the population of this tick, there is transmission from the adults to the nymphs to the eggs. And this is strand stage of transmission and vertical transmission too. And the disease also affects the ticks. The ticks, its reproduction is affected by the disease. So a tick with the bacterium, we do have less chance, will lay down less eggs, and there will be less nymphs and less adults after. And here's the capybara, is our main subject here, because I am from Environmental Secretariat, and every time there is some case of this spotted fever, and as it is related to capybara, there is some urgency or need sometimes to manage this animal, this wild animal. And talking about the biology of this species, it's the largest living rodent. Here it's semi-aquatic, so it depends a lot on water collection, river flows, and has high prolificity. It's rapid growth rate, so in 1 year, the individual is adult and ready to reproduce. It's herbivorous, has social behavior, so it's really hard to see only one capybara running around. It's always a group from 10, 11, sometimes 40 individuals. And they are really nice guys. They are a good species. They are charismatic. People like to be around capybaras. But in the disease, it's a reservoir, and it acts as a reservoir for the bacterium, but it has no clinical signs of disease. The main importance is here. Once they get in touch for the first time with the bacterium, they will amplify the bacterium in the blood, in the tissues, and then another tick will go there, will feed from the blood of capybara and get the bacterium from the capybara, and then the species will produce antibodies, so it will be immune. It produces some immunity for the disease. So the capybara will only transmit the bacterium for one time in its life. But this kind of immunity does not pass through for the newborns. So every time you have a large group of capybaras and there is a lot of puppies, every time you have like 10 puppies born and 20, and the population is growing, it's bad for the disease because the newborns won't have the immunity for the rickettsia. Basically, it's like that. So you can have the disease here in the state of São Paulo. You need these three factors here: the tick, the bacteria, and the capybara. But sometimes human gets in the middle of it. Maybe because a person is entering some protected areas, or going to fishing, or hunting, or because capybara is living in the cities. They are here. I don't know if you are here from São Paulo, but who knows? Pirassununga, Piracicaba, Campinas, Sorocaba, everywhere you have capybara around the city. And here in São Paulo, we have this situation that we have degraded environments. It's a species that has a high reproductive rate. Lack of predators, we don't have. It's an ecological disbalance here. We don't have enough predators to like pumas or jaguars to hunt them, to eat them, and make some population control. So in São Paulo, they are in high numbers here. And even though the poaching or hunting here in São Paulo is not allowed, so there is no pressure for men killing the capybaras for eating or for pleasure, anything. And here we have wide food supplies. We have a lot of sugar canes and another crops like corns, cattle pasture that feeds this population. So the result is that we have high population growth here. And here is the landscape used here is important as well, because here is a residential condominium that is really common in the cities of São Paulo. There has a lot of lakes inside. So they put a wall around this residential place and has a lot of lakes here. And no one gains, no capybara get in, and no one get out. So they have like a paradise for them. They have food. There are no predators to kill them. There are no disease because they are so protected. They don't have disease from the newborns. The newborns that are born, they really easily reach from adult age. And this is like a time bomb for rickettsia, because when you have a lot of newborns, rickettsia will show up. And here, people live here. People go in this place. So since we are dealing with this kind of management, the state of São Paulo, they brought this problem to us. They told us, like, the health secretariat talked to us, like, we have a problem, we have to deal with it, because there is this need to manage the capybara, but we don't want to, we have to make some rules for it. It cannot be only like, oh, there's because some person got a disease and died, oh, let's kill every capybara of this place, and that's okay. No, because it does not work for the disease. And so we've published these resolutions together from Environmental Secretariat and Health Secretariat, because it's an issue that binds together to state secretariats, and to classify these areas so we can start to standard when you have to manage and what kind of management do you have to take from this in this place. So these criteria the resolution brings is the presence of the ticks. So we have to make some kind of research, field survey to see if the tick is there. If the rickettsia is in the place, sometimes it's not there, it's not circulation there. If you have the vertebrate hosts, as the capybaras, and you have people going to this place, so there's a risk. And the areas can be classified as these four. So we begin with the predisposed area. You have the tick, you have the capybaras, and people have access. But you don't know if the rickettsia is there. You just don't know. So to be sure, you make some serological survey. And if the survey, the results say to you, no, the bacteria is not circulating here, so it's alert area. That's okay for the moment. If the serological survey indicates there is the rickettsia circulating, it's not a risk area. So you have all the three factors and human frequency nearby. And sometimes you don't have to do this kind of search because people got sick. Someone got sick. And only to be sure, when a person got sick, sometimes you have to do the investigation to discover where the person got the tick and got the rickettsia. And sometimes the people is dead. You cannot simply ask, oh, where have you been last month? Did you go to some place? Did you travel, anything? And sometimes people don't want to know, don't want to tell you because it was poaching, it's illegal, was fishing in some place they couldn't be. So sometimes you're not sure where this person got the disease. And in this case, you do a serological survey in the population of capybara and a sample to be more sure if the rickettsia is there. And what is that what measures can we do to prevent this disease? There is information, so you inform people who lives there, who works there, who just go on holidays and vacations. There is some kind of risk in this place. People who work there have to to take care of safety, individual safety. This kind of environmental management também also is really important because you have to keep the grass down because you allow the sun to comb the soil and then kill the ticks. This is a good thing to do. And you can try like selective fences. Like here it's a playground for the kids, so we cannot we cannot fence all the capybaras not to go in, but we can fence the playing ground, we can fence the place where the restaurants and the swimming pool. So capybaras won't take the ticks on this place, and people won't walk through place with capybaras and the ticks. But this fences is not really, sometimes not really efficient because you forget to tell the capybara which side of the fence it should be. So it's not like always 100% efficient. And when there is a lot of things we have to do, included doctors communities and information and everything, but I'm not focused on that. I'm here more about capybaras because there is two main kinds of management that we can do to them. One is removal, it's euthanasia. We cannot remove from some place and take to another place because you take with the capybaras, you take the ticks, we take the rickettsia, and you take the disease together. So it's not an option here. So only if the place is really, really, really close to the entrance of new capybaras, it's a good thing to do. Not good, but it's acceptable. And when you remove all the capybaras from the place, you expect, like in 2 years, the ticks population will vanish. There will be no more ticks. So for the disease, for public health, it's a good solution because you eliminate the risk. But it's not every place you can have these fences and these walls, and you have to think that capybara is a semi-aquatic species. So if you have water exits, you have flow, everything, it's not easy to be sure that this will be really closed. So there is another option that is surgical sterilization. You have to capture them. It's a surgical sterilization, both male and female will be submitted by this. And we have partial removal on this population, especially in closed areas when you want to keep a part of these capybaras, but you don't want more risk for the newborns or to keep the ones who didn't have the first contact with the rickettsia. So a day before of the surgery, you collect a blood sample, give it to the lab, and the results will tell you if this individual will live or will die. If this individual had once a contact with the rickettsia, okay, it has antibodies, it is immune, so it can keep on the place. If this individual didn't have the contact before, has no immunity, so it's going to euthanasia. So it's a partial removal.
What is the prevalence? The prevalence of individuals with antibodies?
When the rickettsia is circulating in the population, it's more like, if it's like more results 10 or 50% of positive, you believe it's circulating there, you can affirm that. And why we are here? I told you what we are used to do here. We want to take a next step because we thought we are discussing that everything we are doing and authorizing is more when someone got the disease, is not preventively. And capybara is everywhere, so we're trying to do the next step and to tell the resolution is always involved. So new scientific knowledge about the disease is always put inside the resolution so we can make it better always. We want to establish long-term reproductive management procedures in open areas because our biggest challenge is what to do if you have a place is closed with all, that's okay. If you leave some capybaras there, in 10 years they're all going to die naturally, and that's okay. But when you have open areas, it doesn't work like that because we remove some part and there will be another animals coming in this place. We want to make some landscape analysis to identify capybara source population. We want to identify where there is environmental factors that can support large groups of capybaras, those groups who are 60 individuals, and every year has 1 or 2 newborns events, and are spreading capybaras out. So are expelling capybaras. And to propose regional management of capybaras to prevent new human cases of the disease. And for us, it's very important to promote human-wildlife coexistence. We want to sell this idea that wildlife, okay, there's a disease involved, people really die because of the disease, but the solution is not to kill everybody, it's not to vanish the population away, because they will come back. It does not work. And second, because you have to face that they have their ecological role in environment, even though it's a degraded environment, but they have the hole, and it is important to keep them there. This study key by Paulo and Professor Labruna says that, run a model that says that if you reduce in 80% the capybara birth rates, you can eliminate rickets in the population in 4 years. That's good. If you can reduce 90% the capybara birth rates, you can eliminate the circulation of rickets in 2 years. That's great. But where are this population of capybara? Where are going to manage this population to reduce birth rate? If you have a landscape use, you have. So we begin to do that with a diagnosis in the health region of Campinas, because it's the place where you have most cases. Initially doing by a questionnaire with the municipalities, just to tell us, oh, where do you have capybaras in your city? Just point that in the map. And have another questions. And here in green is the municipalities who answered our questionnaire. So we have some kind of data. And then we are trying to do the landscape analysis to find out where in this city we have places that can support large groups of capybaras. So they have a large water collection, they have food supplies around here, and there is people here because it's a park here. And with some field service, we go in some of this place to see really if there is capybaras there. So you see some feces, we see footprints, or sometimes we see the capybaras swimming and everything. And what we are aiming to do now is to put this together and try to model this with environmental criteria to vegetation, temperature, and rivers and everything, so we can, in the future, try to model. Here is for Campinas, the health regional, where we have a large groups of capybaras. Maybe these groups are the ones that we have to manage, or maybe not, because we have to deal with the landscape use and other criteria. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have time for a few short questions.
Hello, thank you for your talk. How long does a capybara live? How long does it take to get immunity? And what are the symptoms for the capybara when they get sick?
They live
After this, I would ask if it was already considered to infect them to get them immune.
In free-range wild capybaras live for 10, 15 years. It depends. São Paulo's capybara is very different from Pantanal capybara. In Pantanal, where they have jaguars and pumas and, how to say, and other predators, jacaré, esqueci. Alligators, yes, they tend to live less. But here in São Paulo, they live like 15 years, that's okay. I forgot the other question.
How long does it take to get immune after getting sick?
It's around 14 days.
14 days?
Yes.
So
It's a short season.
you never consider like to arrest capybaras and then get them sick, and then after 30 days release them because they be like
This should be a hormonal vaccination, yes. You would have to make this kind of manage every reproductive season. So you have to capture this capybara like 2 times a year. In those things, it's not really easy to capture all the individuals from a group, from a large group.
Just think about modeling, like if you have a limit in which you have the prevalence grow, the disease tends to vanish. Yeah. So
Yes. No, is that it?
Bacteria can evolve. You are forcing the bacteria to evolve. There is a risk.
yeah. It's
Maybe.
something that pops up in my mind. I don't
It's
know
not
that.
simple like that.
It's also assuming that immunity is solid and lifelong, which it may not be for bacterial infection.
Yes, but we assume it's lifelong.
Um,
For as we have the knowledge today, nowadays, we assume it's for lifetime.
Oh, right, okay. I was just going to ask, have you considered interventions that attack the vector, like long-lasting ivermectin treatment in people and capybaras? We have the same difficulty. We have to capture every capybaras from a place and to give this medicine. And it's not quite sure if it works for capybara. So it has more study. And there is not a lot of companies that want to produce this medicine for capybaras. They have for cattle, they have for horses, but in ticks, control is really difficult in the environment. They can stay in the environment for 2 years. I can kind of imagine a situation where you would have a structured approach where the capybaras and the humans intersect the most in those areas. Perhaps culling would be the answer. And then in areas where you wish to conserve the capybaras, in a sort of specific area, then something more gentle, like making them immune, or ivermectin treatment, or rapid diagnosis and treatment of people who become infected with rickettsia, giving them antibiotics, and then just leaving them to it in the complete wilderness. Would some kind of, I'm sure modelling could support that kind of structured mixed intervention strategy.
Yes, I think it's more kind of what we're going to do, because we've classified the areas. If it's only alert area, we can act like this. We just keep monitoring this population to see if, and the medical community will be advised, and the people will get advised for what to do if they get sick and everything. But some places there is a large number of capybaras, and it's not capable to maintain everybody there, because they will fight, they will run away, they can spread along the city. So I think it's more what you said. We have to see what kind of reality the place has, so you can take the decision. It's not be the same decision for every place.
Hi, Monicque. Here, Marcelo. I wonder, what is the current model that you have in terms of data access for researchers in general and the public in general? Is it open to the public, open under request, not open at all? What is your current model for data access?
Actually, I don't know this. I'm in the beginning, really. I'm here to learn about this. And the first step was to do this questionnaire with the cities. And we know we can, in the countryside, it's easy to make some Google research, but the trend topic is about, there is a subject that people really talk about. There is new papers, news and everything. But I don't know. I hope I have some surveillance about the disease. I have this data about where does capybara live, what the biology of the species, how long does it walks on the field, the size of the population, how many newborns a group has, and this kind of stuff. But we are putting this data together to decide what we're going to use.
So,
Is capybara a predator of other animals?
No, it's herbivorous. Only plants, sugarcane, corn, trees, little trees.
No, I ask because of possible consequences of the reduction of vertebrae, but not the problem.
No.
okay, thank you again. So.